Our tour began on Tuesday evening with a welcoming dinner at the Kaunas Hotel. Our 10 tour members came from the Chicago and St. Louis area. The following morning, our tour of Kaunas began with an overview of the city and Old Town. In Old Town, we visited the Church of Vytautas the Great, the Kaunas Castle, Devil's Museum, Kurlionis' Galleria, and other memorable sites.
These are the different trades represented in Lithuania.
So this is Mary's coronation in the wake of the 16th century. But you see, Lithuania had no school of art. All art of Lithuania till the 18th century was influenced by different countries.
This is St. George Church. Right here, and across them there's a big moat here, and this is one of the big castles that have been neglected.
Our tour took us to the Church of the Resurrection, in Lithuanian Perisi Kelimo. The building began after Lithuania received its independence in 1918. It was nearly completed in 1940 when the Nazis, with their occupational forces, using the church as a storeroom. During the Soviet occupation in 1952, it was used as a radio factory. During this occupational period, the cross atop the tower was demolished, so as well as the chapel. During the 1990s, rehabilitation slowly began. In 2004, the church was consecrated. The Church of the Resurrection is the largest basilica of its kind in the Baltic states. After the Kaunas tour, we were invited to dinner at a friend of Danuta's. What a great family and great food.
To try that. Patrick, we need some moonshine.
That's what.
And the sauce story.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Moonshine drink. You're gonna have some. Is that right?
You pour the alcohol over and then light it.
Maybe we will fit.
And that's, I mean, that's the
I
way
got it. Is that enough?
So.
Alcohol is at the bottom of it.
As we say goodbye, thank you, Janina, for a wonderful, wonderful evening. The following day, we departed for Klaipėda, Lithuania's only seaport city on the Baltic Sea. We arrived for lunch in Klaipėda and did sightseeing for the remainder of the afternoon. After the city tour of Klaipėda, we traveled to Palanga, a beautiful resort by the sea. With a free evening, we met Father Major Remy Montevillas, a priest in the Lithuanian army, who took Clarissa and me to a concert at Church of the Assumption, with dinner afterwards. We later strolled the boardwalk of Palanga and observed the beautiful sunset over the Baltic Sea. The following day was a free day for the tour. Father Montevilius arranged for Clarissa and me to travel to Nida, another Baltic resort town, to meet Father Adamovicius, pastor of the Catholic Church in Nida. We were treated to many wonderful sights, a boat ride, and a beautiful wedding. We were introduced to Father Adamovicius, pastor of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Help of Christians Church in Nida. Father Adamovicius is pastor of the First Catholic Church established in Nida. The architecture of the church, dedicated in 2003, accentuates the white pinnacle of the cross, which is visible from all sides of Nida and the surrounding sea. This wedding ceremony ended our day at Nida, and we returned to Palanga. The following morning, we left Palanga on our way back towards Vilnius, with a stop at the Hill of the Crosses. Arbo Grady met two of her relatives who lived nearby. We stopped for lunch and then departed for the Trakai Castle. Trakai Castle is the medieval capital of Lithuania. Completing the visit to the castle, we left for our 3-day stay at Vilnius. The tour of Vilnius took us to Vilnius University, one of the oldest universities in Europe. The Old Town, Gate of Dawn, Lithuania's National Museum. Also visited the Hill of the Three Crosses, the newly rebuilt Grand Duke's Palace, and we climbed to Gethsemanius' Hill to visit the castle. During our visits to one of the cathedrals, Clarissa had the opportunity to go to confession to Father Patrick Finnegan. And here is Danuta with her sister who lives in Vilnius. During our visit to Vilnius, Clarissa had the opportunity to visit Lithuania's National Archives office to obtain her grandparents' birth certificates and marriage licenses. Kathleen and Patrick Brady attended the visit with us and were able to obtain some important family information. We left Vilnius after breakfast towards Druskininkai and stopped at Grutas Park on the way. The park was made up of many Soviet statues and paraphernalia of their occupation throughout Lithuania. Leaving Grutas Park, we arrived in Druskininkai late afternoon for our last night in Lithuania. Marie Lind and Brian Ruggiero joined our group for the Poland tour. Clarissa meets her newly found cousin Monica and her family. The following morning, we left for Poland, our last journey through Lithuania. Thanks to Danuta Lasky, she gave Clarissa a brief summary of her days while in Lithuania growing up.
Yeah, all the teenagers had to belong to the Youth Communist Society, which is called Pioneers. And when the leader says, be prepared, we have to say, always prepared.
Oh!
So, and it's, instead of scouts, I guess, we never said with God. Because
now you have to say Lithuanian.
Religion was the opium to the people, Marx said.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now you have to say what would sound like in
Lithuania. Yeah, and Russians would say Lithuania probably, because they cannot say TH.
Now you have to say that in Russian, or what you said, be prepared.
Always prepared? Oh, in Lithuanian.
In Lithuanian.
They would say, Būk pasiryžęs. We would say, visada pasiryžęs.
What a great tour and great tour members. Music theme throughout this video was from the Lithuanian composer and artist Michael Čiurlionis. His CD titled The Sea and the Forest.